their 4th week of life, these puppies have gone from toddling to trotting to running. They can now climb, leap, and pounce, and bark. They're interested in other dogs and people. They wrestle with each other, they're starting to stalk one another, and they even make plans for attacking their litter mates. Their sharp little teeth elicit pained yips and howls now when they grab each other by the ear, by the neck, the tail, or foot. This is all necessary play to learn bite inhibition and what's acceptable and not. Even though their mother doesn't normally resource guard, I found a way to get her to teach the youngsters never to approach another dog who's enjoying a treat. When a puppy approaches too close, she growls. When the puppy seems unfazed and approaches again, she snaps at it, and the message is received. Puppies aren't born knowing social cues, and interactions with other dogs allows them to learn boundaries. Polite play includes taking breaks, while cutoff signals like turning away or sniffing are used to say no or to request a break from high arousal play. But if a dog is pushy, older dogs will use subtle signals like stiffening or turning away. If the puppy is not understanding the subtle cues, the older dog will use firmer, non-harmful corrections to teach the puppy to stop unwanted behaviors. However, sometimes a puppy just won't take no for an answer. It's important to find older dogs who will teach manners to the youngsters so they learn how to read social cues. In this case, Mom decides to just leave the situation, but hopefully we'll get more opportunities for mentor dogs to teach the youngsters how to interact appropriately with others. They're seeing well enough now to gaze into people's eyes, which they all do while lying quietly now on their backs. Every puppy gets several minutes on their backs daily to teach them how to calm themselves when in a vulnerable position. The daily work is paying off as now all the pups relax when placed on their backs. Eye contact is a fundamental part of effective communication between you and your dog. When the pup maintains eye contact, it shows they're attentive and ready to engage. This focus can significantly improve training sessions and ensure your dog responds better to commands. In addition, sustained, gentle eye contact releases oxytocin in both you and the pup, strengthening the human-canine bond. Potty training is still a top priority. The puppies all poop in the toileting tray now and urinate in it 95% of the time. We've now introduced the bigger piggy poo, which has a 2-inch lip that they weren't big enough last week to navigate over. To keep them going in the toileting area and nowhere else, we save some of the old urine-soaked pellets and poop and dump them into the bottom of the new potty tray, covering them with fresh pine pellets. The puppies seem to catch on quickly. Any new change in their environment may cause a temporary regression. For instance, when I enlarged the playpen because they had gotten the toilet training down, there were a few accidents, but not many. They quickly adapted to the new living scheme. The same thing happened when they were brought to a new pen. A few little urinary accidents the first day, but then they all settled in.
Good girl.
It's a boy. It's a boy.
As they approach their 5th week, one of the most interesting developmental changes is that they're attracted to novelty. That characteristic fades over the next month until pups will actually be fearful of new things around 8 weeks of life. So we want to introduce puppies to as many new experiences as possible over the next 4 weeks so that few things in the world are new to them. They got a few new toys this week, including a balance board to help with proprioception, coordination, and balance. A larger wobble board also helps develop balance and coordination, and the swaying motion aids in vestibular system development, ostensibly reducing the tendency to motion sickness. They got a raised dog bed that they can now easily climb up on, and just as easily roll off of. We also introduced a soft ramp to climb up on and a soft dog bed to leap onto should they decide to take the plunge off the top of the ramp. They got their first taste of the outdoors this week. It was a bit cool at 51 degrees, but at this age, the puppies can now regulate their temperatures as well as an adult dog. Still, we only had them outside for a few minutes, but during that time, we drove them around in their baby buggy, steering it up and down the deck onto the grass, made it go over uneven terrain and some bumps. Like the wobble board, this helps with vestibular development and motion sickness. We introduced them to grass. They didn't like the wet grass very much, but the drier grass they appreciated. They gained confidence facing new challenges like climbing over the rungs of a ladder and going through a tunnel.
Good job. Come on. Good job. Oh, good job.
When puppies are able to successfully overcome a challenge or obstacle, it makes them bolder and more confident, willing to try new things. They learn that there's nothing they can't do if they're willing to put forth the effort.
Good job. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Good job, Whitey. Good job. Come on, Blue. Puppy, 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 puppy. Come on. Up, 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 up. Get that coordination. Good job.
After a little initial coaxing, pretty soon all of the puppies are running over the rungs of the ladder.
There you go.
They explored a mutt hut that we use for duck hunting and investigated the decoys and plunged into a ball pit. They encountered a scary inflatable waving figure which didn't intimidate them at all. The tube was nothing for them, but the stairs were pretty intimidating as they were fairly steep, and just a few days ago this would have been impossible for their little legs.
Wow.
Still, several of them felt adventurous
All right.
today.
Good job. You did it. Whoops. Almost. Come on. Let's go. You can do it. Come on. Good job. Way to be brave. Good job.
They've been serenaded with a violin, which definitely caught their attention, and one of them wanted to sing along. I've been introducing them to increasingly louder noises on the TV. They've also slept through the 1812 overture with cannons firing. They listen to thunderstorm and gunshot sounds on the CD while eating or playing, and eventually they'll hear train horns and sirens and gunfire. All of these loud noises will be paired with pleasant experiences, so they don't associate them with scariness. The puppies came to the medical clinic with me this week and were introduced to some new people, some funny-looking dogs, and some new toys.
Oh, it's gonna get your bottom. It's gonna get your bottom.
They also learned about different textures and floor surfaces, transitioning easily from laminate to vinyl to carpet, grass, rocks, and concrete. We also introduced them to a wounded chucker that I kept from the upland training we did that afternoon with their mom and half-sister. As expected, most of them had no clue there was a bird there or its significance to their later lives, but a few of them, once they discovered it, started biting, licking, and plucking it.
What is that? Oh, yes. That is a good nose. Oh, yep, yep.
The puppies are now all eating solid food. I fed them individually at first to make sure each one was getting enough nutrition. Some were frantic, voracious eaters who protested that they wanted more after they'd finished their bowl. Others were pokey eaters who would rather explore than eat. I introduced probiotics on their second day of puppy food and then add salmon oil on the third day. This probiotic and fish oil mix will help keep their guts healthy and their minds sharp, and they'll stay on this until they go to their new homes. We'll continue exposing them to new situations and experiences over this next month, and also get them on upland birds every week, so that by the time they go to their new homes, hopefully they'll be temperamentally sound, stable, bold, and confident young bird dogs.